Well, good morning. Today, the 110 crafting update has finally dropped, which means we have a lot of new stuff to look at, including platinum jewelry, new urns created from porcelain clay, and of course, the new armor, which includes the Starbloom craftable armor, as well as the brand new Masterwork Magic armor. So for this first video, we're going to jump in and take a look at some of the new crafting materials, specifically that platinum jewelry, those new urns, and the Starbloom armor. And then later in another video, I'm going to do what we've been doing and sort of do a front to back look at the Masterwork Mage armor. No one cares about Treasure Hunter, so let's jump into the video. So one of the first things they've added are the new platinum ores. This is a high level crafting bar similar to silver or gold. There are two mines that they've added to the game. One located the Oozer mine north of Narda, sort of northeast of the Dominion Tower, kind of, again, near Oozer. And then they've also added this one here to the Piscatoris fishing area, or rather south of the colony. There's a few rocks around here. I've got explosives, so I'm not worried about rock opportunities, but you'll want to mine these out. They take a little bit of time, but to get the new jewelry, you'll need these new platinum ores, which you'll have to obviously smelt into platinum bars, and then combine with dragonstone jewelry, tier 5 enchantment, the dragonstone enchantment, to get the new pieces of the enchanted jewelry. Kind of niche uses, in my opinion, but they are there. They're a nice option if you, are interested in those teleports or the recoil effect, things like that. It's all outlined in sort of the right-click examines and in the update pages. Additionally, if you plan on making the Masterwork armor, or rather, I should say the Masterwork robes, you'll need a lot of platinum bars, I believe. I was just kind of poking around interfaces, and it looks like one of the requirements, amongst some other things, are the platinum bars themselves. So I'm going to stay here for a while, mine quite a few. They've added platinum stone spirits to the game to a lot of existing sort of bosses. They've not bosses, enemies. They've replaced the Bay Knight or other lower tier stone spirits with these new platinum ones, so that will speed things up for you. But again, there's two mines, two locations. Combine with Dragonstone jewelry, and you'll get the new jewelry if that's what you're interested in. So with 104 smithing, you can go ahead and take your ore to any furnace in the game, really, and smelt yourself platinum bars. It is a 1-to-1 bar to ore, similar to gold and silver. And once you've got that, if you're interested in the various Dragonstone jewelry, you could go ahead and you could craft those as well using Dragonstones. Personally, I don't think many of them sound particularly useful for me at the stage I'm at in the game. You've got the recoil ring. You've got the Delver's anklet, which doesn't sound all that useful. What does sound nice, though, to me, is the platinum. Oh, fuck, is it the amulet? I don't know. The platinum amulet, which will allow you to, obviously, once you've strung it and enchanted it, it speeds up the process for those special high-level activities. So we're talking martial bows, primal equipment, imbuing rods, and I'm going to make some in the event that it will help me craft Starbloom. Again, and that's just Dragonstone. Take those to any furnace, string them, and then enchant them with level 5 enchant on the standard spellbook. At any rate, you're looking into the future. You're likely going to need a lot of these for the Masterwork Mage robes, and if you're interested in making those down the line, I recommend mining a lot of platinum. I think a minimum of 120 might be needed from what I've seen in the recipe books. So one of the other things they added is the porcelain clay. This isn't really used in the Masterwork robes, I don't think. It just seems to be primarily for the new urns. There's a whole new tier. I think they start at 102 and go all the way to 110. Same as other urns, the existing skills, woodcutting, mining, smithing, which is now changed to actually include smithing and smelting, farming, divination, etc. So all that's the same. There is an extra step though where you need to add a gem, and I'll show that afterwards. So the Porcelain Mine itself is located right by the entrance to the Everlight. Got a nice view of the lighthouse there. There's a new NPC here named Roberta, and if you care about your comp cape or your quest cape, you're going to want to take a note of her because there is an achievement to give her 100 porcelain clay. And just in the event that you need to do it all at once, I've brought some note paper just to save myself the extra trip. So you'll head inside here. You can see there's already got some folks up in here mining their porcelain. Just pick a rock, and then we'll see how long this takes. It's probably, on the longer side, similar to platinum. And, that's really it. You can order it, you can bank it, you can note it, take it to a spinning wheel, and make those new urns. One thing I have seen is that it is currently humidified. It does not seem to be working on the porcelain itself. There seem to be a number of bugs with lunars and sort of these new items interacting. I couldn't mine, rather I couldn't spin. I couldn't attach a string to my amulets. I was making some of the new platinum dragonstone amulets because they will assist with the production process down the line. So I had to actually get some balls of wool and string those. But at any rate, you can see this takes a little bit of time. I am mining soft clay, so it looks like any bonuses you have that might help you mine, give you a chance at getting soft clay instead of hard clay do apply. So keep that in mind when you're here. Beyond that, you'll just mine your clay, and when you're all done, head over to a potter's wheel, pottery oven, and you can make yourself some urns. And just to sort of go ahead and validate, I'm going to see if you can, in fact, hand in the noted clay to Roberta. Oh, I gotta have free space, because of course I do. There we go. And it looks like she prioritizes the hard porcelain first, which is nice. I'm gonna actually read this later. There we go. All right, so the only thing left to showcase is Starbloom, which is a week old, but I figured I'll cover it real quick anyway in case you haven't dabbled into it. And so Starbloom seeds have been out for a week now. There's a lot of places you can get them. You can thieve master farmers, dwarf traders, number of enemies, vile blooms, not penguins. I'm gonna spot a penguin though. Vile blooms, drop them. There's a lot of places you can get them. You can also get them from your kingdom though. So before I go and collect, it's actually been a while since I've done so. I'm gonna boost it back up to 100. There we go, and then we're gonna collect. Let's collect our resources here. I don't have seeds. All right, that sucks. Well, you can get them from Kingdom, and then you can plant them. So let me get some because I planted all mine. I'll get some seeds, and then I'll just showcase what I like to do for growing them to maximize the flower per seed, so to speak. So whenever you've got your hands on some seeds, you'll just need to hit up the different flower patches and plant them. Don't forget that you'll need a battle staff to do so. As you can see from my screen, one of the best ways that you can get a large amount of these pretty quickly is to use your POF bean and buy some of the leafy potions. That's the green potion that works on flower patches, and that will instantly grow the plant and you can harvest it. If you've got a dwarven extractor, you'll get if you've got a dwarven extractor, you set that to resource mode and you'll get double the amount of flowers per harvest. So if you've got the dwarven tools, if you're not an iron, if you've got them from old events or whatever, and if you can afford a few of the leafy potions, I highly recommend this. It's much quicker. You'll save yourself a lot of time running around to all the different patches, and it's really not that expensive. They're only 1,000 beans each. So you can see I've planted about I think 10, maybe 9 seeds here. Got a few hundred Starblooms just from that, which is great. So yeah, just however you get your flowers, gather them, and then take those over to the crafting guild. And so making Starbloom will take a little bit more work, but this is the last process that we're going to cover today, and more importantly, it is the last requirement we'll need before we can go ahead and make the Masterwork Mage robes. Specifically, we're going to need to make this thread and then convert that thread into fabric over at the loom after we do that. So we can see we've got Starbloom cloth here, so we need 2 threads per cloth. There's a lot of materials as well. I've already kind of looked at these for the masterwork robes. We'll take a look greater detail when I actually go ahead and make that. But so that's most of that you can do here. So we just got to start making all this thread. It does stack, which is nice. That'll speed things up a little bit. Pretty decent XP, all things considered. We're going to be making a lot of this. But after you do that, it's time to go ahead and turn all of that into fabric. Take threads over to the loom and weave them. These also stack. And then when you have cloth in hand, you can head over to the pattern table and pick the piece of Starbloom that you want to make. You can also say drop down for the higher tiers as well as the masterwork, but we're going to look at that at a later time. Let's just start with the body because it'll probably take the longest. So you get an unfinished draft, which I believe you then bring over to the drafting table. And now this works a little bit differently from the other extended crafting processes. It's similar to smithing where you just kind of work at it and there's progress over time. However, there is a chance that you can mess up, in which case you will waste a piece of fabric. You can see there, I gotta click that. There we go, I got some extra progress. And I didn't waste any cloth in doing that. So you want to pay attention. It helps the process go a little bit faster. After a short period, you'll get to a point where the armor is unfinished. You're at 30% progress. At that point, you need to take it over to the tailor's dummy. And that is where you will finish working on it. And that process, again, is much the same. You just sort of have to pay attention, hang out. You'll have to click periodically in order to avoid mistakes and to get that extra progress. But it continues from where you were. Again, same percentage. That's the blue bar on the top there. And so as you'll progress through, again, you're getting those little pop-ups. Those give you progress, but they also cause miscuts. If you look at the sort of the status window, here we go. I'm gonna let this miss because you can see I have 1 miscut out of 7 at the moment. And now if I go ahead and I miss it, we're gonna see that there you go. See a little pop-up came. I got a miscut. Now I'm at 2 out of 7. So if you get the full amount of miscuts, and this might vary based on the piece of armor that you're making, you will have to go and use more cloth in order to fix it. And that's what the repair table is for. And so again, it's both a reward for actually paying attention and also a punishment for not paying attention, causing you to use more resources. So as long as you catch a few of those, you should be fine, and you won't have to waste any of your cloth. So just like with all of the other, more in-depth production methods, as the bar fills up, that means you're nearly complete. And at 100% completion, the current piece that you're working on is done, and you can either at this point equip it, or you can continue to level it up. All the armors work the same way, so we're going to cut this video off there. And that is the entire process for making armor. That is the clay. I suppose we could look at the... Let's make an urn real quick, just to see it. Let's make a smithing urn. I think that needs a ruby. Just to see it, and then that's everything. So this whole update, it touched a lot more than, the smithing or the fletching updates, just because there's inherently more to do with crafting. They should have split crafting into 2 skills years ago, but obviously they never did that, and it's way too late to do that now. So we can see here, making an urn is basically the same process. Only 1 porcelain per urn, though, not 2. So we can use the ruby. There you go. So it's 1 of everything, 1 soft clay, or rather soft porcelain clay, 1 gem, and then we'll have to just go and add 1 rune to that, and we'll have a nice decorated smithing urn that is now actually a smithing urn, not a smelting urn. There we go. And that works for all smithing, and we stick it in our Yep, we can stick it in our brooch, so everything works how it's supposed to. So that's it. That's everything. That's some of the new jewelry, the urns, and the armor crafting. It's nothing we haven't done before. The armor is new and it's mostly just for the training method, much like the other updated skills have been. It looks like I saved a piece of cloth there. I did see that message come up. So it looks like the artificer's measure works for that. But this isn't anything crazy, nothing wild, nothing sort of, what would you say, revolutionary. It's all the same stuff we've done before, just with bigger numbers. With exception, of course, of this new mage armor. This is sort of a new thing. I like it. I'd like to see it sort of retroactively applied to existing armors, similar to, bows, and staves, and all the other stuff that they've added. But that's a lot of work for just the sake of consistency and not so much, sexy, exciting new content that people might enjoy. That's it for this video. Let me know if you thought it was helpful, if I missed anything. Like what are your thoughts on some of the platinum jewelry? I think it all looks like shit, but you might have a different opinion from me, so let me hear it. I am going to probably end of the week, maybe even not until next week because I'm a little busy. Get the Masterwork armor video out. I already have a pretty good idea of what's required simply because people in my the chat are talking about it. But again, we're able to see a lot of these menus here. Crocius flakes. We need, imp hide, spider silk, batwing, bark, fine cloth, mystic cloth. So the flakes from the polypore dungeon. So it's touching almost every aspect of smithing, or not smithing, of crafting that really exists currently in the game. I haven't checked for sure, but I think I saw pearls are needed for basically the armor itself, similar to the masterwork trim, and how that also needed what you call it. I saw like magic essence that's made from virtuous gear, and of course tectonic essence. Thankfully, somebody learned how to solo Virago, so I got plenty of tech to go around. But anyway, I'm gonna see if I can hopefully get that video out before Thursday, because it's a busy week for me at the end of the week. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.